Hello, I'm George Herbeck, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now, Kentucky. We do have an update for you tonight live from the Hardin County Emergency Operations Center in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. We are live with Joey Scott and other members of our county here that are going to be helping with not only helping to keep you guys safe, but returning to normalcy after what will be a really impactful event throughout major go over the 10-inch mark. And again, that's in a combination with the sleet. The heaviest freezing rain zone does exist between the northern portions of the parkway toward that I-64 corridor as well. And we're really concerned with southern portions of Jefferson County, northern portions of Hardin, eastern portions of Meade and Breckenridge going toward Nelson and Bullitt County for a potential zone of approaching 3/4 of an inch of ice at that point. So that said, again, not much has changed from our broadcast that we've had with you guys throughout the last 48 to 72 hours and all of the graphics and information that we posted on our page. At this point, I want to turn it over to Joey, have him introduce everyone here to you, and then we'll start asking Joey some questions, and he can start providing some answers for you as well as everyone else that's here with us tonight. Go ahead, Joey.
Okay, thank you, George. I appreciate you. I'm Joey Scott, Hardin County Emergency Management Director. To my right is Judge Keith Tall. To his right is EMS Director Mark Peterson. And off camera, we have Elizabethtown Police Officer Chris Denham, spokesperson for Elizabethtown Police Officer. So we're grateful everybody came in tonight. We know it's been a lot of prep work for everybody, city and county. We're so thankful to have a good partnership with the city of Elizabethtown. All of our partners, we've been working well, communicating, staying in communication with Red Cross as well. So, yes, it's definitely been a trip to get ready for. So, and we're taking it very serious in all the county.
There you go. All right, so I do want to ask some questions to Joey now. And again, Joey can answer some of these and pass them off to other folks that might provide some better answers as well. Joey kind of runs the show here, but again, he has a big team that helps him. And I came in Thursday, like I told you guys on all the medias, and kind of saw all the moving parts and the machine that it is here, not only in Hardin County, but throughout all portions of the state of Kentucky. And it really does take an absolute army to overcome something like this. So, Joey, just a little bit about you. What's your role and your background and your history? Because I think it's pretty amazing. I think everyone should hear it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thank you for asking. I've been involved in emergency services 30 years. This is my 30th year in emergency services. Retired firefighter. I'm still a county volunteer fire chief. So I wear many different hats in emergency services. I've helped Hardin County Sheriff's Office as well doing arson investigations. So I've got many roles in emergency service, and I love it. It's my life. It's helping people, and that's why we're all here tonight, because we love Hardin County, we love our citizens, and we want to make sure they're safe.
Heck yeah, man. So just talking a little bit more now that we got his background and you guys heard how qualified he is. And again, a lot of our emergency managers and directors across the state are all have similar stories to Joey and how they travel to their path to helping their individual counties out. So thank you. A quick shout out to all those folks and everyone that is involved with this. It's not just the director or deputy directors. It's everyone on down. And again, it makes an entire team. And so our goal tonight is just kind of inform you on what you can do. Like we mentioned on the past broadcast this morning and last evening, what you may be able to do to help them out by maybe staying out of their way, or again, putting it bluntly, you guys know how I am. Staying out of their way or helping them or different lines that you may be able to call for different information, so on and so forth. So, Joey, when ice and snow does hit for situations like this, what plans do you put in place to ensure that EMS crews can get to those who need medical care and rescue despite some of the treacherous conditions?
And I'll talk a little bit about EMS, but I'll let Mark handle that question here in a minute. But I assure Hardin County so that we've had our road crews do an amazing job. They have been out this morning pretty much for 8 solid hours, some of them 10 hours. They have covered over 300 miles of road, pre-salting the roads and the major arteries of the roads. Just some of your side streets know, but the major arteries, and that really helps out come the time the storm starts to hit in the early morning hours. So, but yeah, on the EMS side, Mark has been making preparations for bringing extra crews on board. We've got extra ambulances staged throughout the area. We also have O2 cylinders staged. That's the big thing, is getting a lot of people oxygen dependent, and we know that, and we're ready to respond to them with extra oxygen cylinders in some of the fire stations. So, and we'll have a person here at the EOC that will be bringing oxygen out to the citizens if they need it. So, and I'll turn it over to Mark and let him talk about his preparations for EMS.
Thank you, Joey. As far as gaining access, you asked, we rely very heavily on our volunteer and paid fire departments in the county to help us gain access to these different areas. And, getting patients to us in a safe manner is a big deal as well. So, like Joey mentioned, we're going to have extra ambulance crews staged in different areas of the county. Where those will be, kind of depends on how things are going. We may move those around. If we need them out in the western part of the county or the southern part of the county, we'll move them down there or whatever. So that's kind of dynamic. Just to kind of refresh everybody's memory, we run 3 ambulances out of the Radcliffe Vine Grove area. We run 4 ambulances out of E-Town and an ambulance down in the Sonora area. So they're kind of spread out, but we'll focus on the parkways, 65, and stuff like that. We will have spare oxygen for folks that are oxygen independent, and that's geared for the folks that lose power and they can't use their oxygen devices at home. And we'll share this number several times tonight, but the number directly into the EOC will be 270-765-5978. So any requests for that, non-emergent stuff, please call down into the EOC. So we're not necessarily burdening the 911 system with stuff that we can handle right here in the EOC.
And Mark, can you repeat that phone number once again for them there, for those of you that may have missed that in the chat there?
Yes, sir. The number is 270-765-5978.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And Joey, I wanted to ask you, and again, you can have other people answer this as well. You talked about setting up some warming shelters throughout portions of the county that might be able to help out if things do get sideways. And what are the differences between warming shelters and God, albeit the different shelters that we may need to, go on down the road? But what are the differences, and how can people access those?
Well, and they're called warming centers.
Warming centers.
We in the event we have to set up a shelter, if something major happens, then we have resources in place for that to happen with our partners through the cities, also with partners through the Red Cross as well. But our warming centers are set up primarily at the volunteer fire departments. We will have one at Vine Grove City Fire Department. Again, I can't speak enough on the volunteers of how much they do for our county, coming in and manning these warming shelters. So they'll come in. It's strictly what it says. It's a warming shelter. We don't want you to freeze. We want you to come in. You can charge your phones and just get some hot coffee and make reservations to go somewhere that you need to be at. But we'll have heat. Most all of these have backup generator power and heat. So that's the great thing about having those throughout the counties.
So just to kind of recap there, the warming center is more of a temporary thing. It's very temporary. It's for you to get back plans going, reaching folks and getting your devices charged up, just warm it up a little bit so you're not stuck outside. It's not meant to be a place that you're staying for very, very long there. Next question here for me. What are the differences in primary and secondary roads, and how do your road crews know how to prioritize those, and usually in an attack or a situation like this from a winter storm?
Okay, your primary roads are your arteries, your main arteries into all your communities. Your secondary roads will be your side streets, subdivisions. But now our road crew at Hardin County has been also out hitting secondary roads on hillsides. They've been doing, four-way stops. They'll be doing mainly the hillsides in the county. That's the big thing. But again, our state's been prepping roads as well, and there is a difference between county and state roads. So, and like I said, all crews have been out working. I think City of Radcliffe, City of Elizabethtown's been out pre-treating as well. So we have a team effort going on, and I can't speak enough for our road department. They do it, and those guys have a big job in front of them, and have patience with them. They're trying. A lot of times when these storms are happening, you got to understand they can't go out and take care of these roads until it stops falling, because it's just especially during an ice storm, we have to worry about the safety of our employees as well on the roadways.
I can't speak enough. Again, we have so many people on our pages across all the medias and all the stories we hear and all the pictures we see of these phenomenal people just sacrificing so much time to help in so many situations that we've seen with severe weather and winter weather and all the amount of people that it takes to get situations like this resolved. It's phenomenal to see. It really is. My next question would be, in a situation like this, guys, the power outages are inevitable. All right, and we know that. And there's already plans and preparations in place. But for you, when should folks call 911 for power? Some situations that they may see outside, and when and who would they contact for just general power outages? Okay,
and we hope everybody's taking all the forecasting been done by WNK, by all the media outlets, all the news outlets. And I want to thank you all because you've been on this storm for 2 weeks, and 2 weeks is a good time to prep. A week's a good time to prep, and I hope people has taken those measures to get that done. But there will be some that are medical dependent. that's an issue. They need to call 911. Or if they want to call into the emergency operations center, they can call that number as well. That's the 769-5978 number, 765-597. Excuse me. They can call into here, and we'll make sure that they get the proper resources out to them. And if they need transport, we can handle that as well. We need to know if they're medical dependents. But again, you're going to have those. So.
So just to recap there, because I know some things can be lost in connections on internet and stuff. So if you see a power line down outside or maybe in a hazardous condition there, that's when you would probably call 911. If your general power is just out at that point, that's when you would lean more on the electric companies and give them that information on what you're seeing. My last question for you, Joey, what can the public do best to help you and your teams out?
We ask you. I mean, you can be definitely a top player here for us to stay off the roadways, and we know there's essential people besides emergency personnel that has to be on the roadways. And we ask you to slow down, be cautious, be mindful of us emergency people that's on the roadways, to our police officers, to our firefighters, to our EMS, definitely our road crews, because they're going to be probably the main people out on the roads trying to get them safe for us to travel. So we ask you just to slow down, stay off the roads if you can, stay home with your families. Stay home and protect your families by keeping them off the roadways, because they're going to be pretty treacherous. That's no secret. And again, we just ask, if you need us, you call that number, you call 911. We'll make sure you get the proper resources to you.
All right, I appreciate that. Hopefully there's so much information that we've given to you guys, but at this point, I guess if Greg sees any questions behind the cameras, that may help us to help get the information across clear there. You can let me know. A bunch. You can just shout them at me if you want to actually have it pulled up here, too. I can go through it as well.
Everybody just wants to know the latest weather.
The latest weather? Again, not much has changed from our broadcast that we did this morning, folks. If you missed that broadcast this morning, it's back on our page as well. Again, all of the information is written on our page too. So if you don't want to watch the whole video and don't want to go through that, it's written on our page as well. So all that information is on our page for you to expect. There has not been any major changes. The next suite of data does not come in until between 8 to 11 p.m. Eastern time tonight. So if there are any updates or changes to be made at that point, we would identify and let you guys know. If our broadcast is needed later on, of course, we can do that from our usual space behind the desk there at the W&K headquarters. But again, not much has changed there. I think you have some information for us over here.
Yes, real quick. I just want to share that situations, they're going to change, and situations are going to dictate our tactics. So it's very important that the public is aware of how we're going to communicate our changes to them. And I would just encourage all public to monitor the Hardin County government's social media page, as well as the Elizabethtown Police Department and City of Elizabethtown's page. That is the quickest way to disseminate information directly to the public. And so we will likely have, as this thing evolves, we will likely have updates perhaps multiple times in an hour. So just continue monitoring those pages. Also, the City of Elizabethtown does have an app. You can download that. It's available on both the Android and Apple platform. It's just City of Elizabethtown KY. And it has a picture of the Elizabethtown City Hall as well as the Elizabethtown Police Department when you go to download that. But that's another quick way. If you don't have social media, if you do have a smartphone, that information, we can get that directly to you. So I would just encourage anyone to please monitor that through the duration of the storm.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Greg, is there any other questions for us, emergency-wise or anything for preparations? I know there's probably a slew and an onslaught of forecast questions, but once again, I just want to reiterate, not much has changed since this morning's broadcast. I do think we have one more note here to my left off screen.
Yes, just one more time, as Joey was saying about road crews being out and supporting them, and staying off the roadway is a great way to do that. But additionally, please don't park vehicles along the roads tonight and the next few days, because they are going to need to be able to get through. And it's going to be treacherous. So just please, put your vehicles in a safe place, a driveway, perhaps somewhere off-site, but do not park vehicles along roadways.
That's a great note, and something I even forget about sometimes. So once again, just to reiterate what my friend here said off screen, don't park along roadways, kind of stay away, be mindful of the space that the emergency workers might need. As for me, some preparations things I can give you if you haven't already done: fuel up your vehicles, make sure your carbon monoxide detectors in your homes are working. Sometimes when temperatures get this cold, you can have some gas pipes be a little leaky. You can have other things happen. So make sure those things are done. When you're dealing with ice as well, a lot of the cars nowadays, you can lift up those wiper blades, and so they don't get stuck to your windshield there. Little things that are going to help you think about it when you're preparing for something like this. Think about what happens if God forbid, the worst case scenario happens and you're without power and stuff. You need canned foods at that point. Generators, make sure those are working and running. Make sure you're filling up the gas cans for the generators. All those little things, hopefully we go throughout tomorrow and we get with more sleet or snow rather than freezing rain. That would be the best case scenario. And hopefully tomorrow, again, if you're south of the parkways, a lot of this doesn't really apply to you. Just a real quick note, south of the parkways, this doesn't really apply to you as much because, again, you're going to warm up all the way into the 40s and 50s. You're going to be wondering what in the heck everyone else is talking about. All right. But north of the parkways, that's where things really begin to get hairy. So just a real quick note on that once again, because I know some people are probably in here asking, what in the world are they talking about? But again, just think about all of the worst case scenario possibilities, prepare for those, and hope along with the rest of us here that it doesn't happen that way, because we all know last minute shifts can happen, last minute temperature swings can happen. In a situation like this that we're dealing with, we're talking about multiple different precipitation types. 1 degree can make all the difference in those situations as well. So hopefully we end up just getting lucky here. If the forecast is a little bit wrong, I would be absolutely okay with that. But at this point, the confidence is quite high. So Joey, did you have any other notes for us here?
I do, and I'm going to let Judge Tall speak here as well. But I just want to encourage all Hardin Countyans to be good neighbors. Check on the elderly people in your neighborhood. Check on your neighbors. Take care of your pets as well. Remember that they're outside during this weather. Bring them inside, and don't just focus on the storm, because temperatures after the storm for the days to come is going to be crucial. So just keep that in mind as well, and try to have some type of secondary heat, by all means. And I'm going to turn it over to Judge Tall now. Let him give a message out.
All right, well, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate a couple of things. One is that the citizens of Hardin County, of course, your safety is of the utmost importance. That's why we have people like Mark Peterson here with EMS. We have Mike Leo, director of 911. We have all these first responders that are out there to take care of situations that we can't take care of by ourselves. And I just want to, just to make sure that everyone knows that there's a lot of things going on in the background to make sure that we do the very best we can to prepare for this. And I'm just very proud of our team here in Hardin County and all those that have put even this communication together to make sure that we get this out as much as we possibly can. And working, of course, with Elizabethtown and Radcliffe and Vine Grove, there's just a lot of collaboration going on, a lot of partnership, a lot of things that are happening in the background. So I'm just very proud of the team. I just wanted to thank all of you, and Joey especially with his leadership in making sure that this is coming together. A lot of great communication. So just be aware that our 911 folks are, if this thing goes pretty bad, then there could be a whole lot of calls coming into that center. So please be patient. We will have it staffed as much as we possibly can. But if you're put on hold, that is unlikely, but it could happen, is to give them a chance and just know that there's a lot of people calling in. And on regular circumstances, you would never be put on hold. We just don't have that. That's not one of our goals. But under these maybe extreme circumstances, it could happen. So just give them time to work through that. Like Mark said, we've got some additional ambulances that are going to be out there, positioned in some other places maybe that they usually wouldn't be. So there's a lot of thought that's gone into that, and we got a lot of our EMTs and our paramedics that are just fantastic people, willing to step out there, go down maybe some roads that they probably usually wouldn't. But they are willing to do that for all of us under an emergency situation. So I just want to thank them. Of course, our fire departments, many of them are volunteer fire departments, and of course our fire departments in Elizabethtown and Radcliffe, Vine Grove, and West Point. all these folks are just awesome, and they are out there to help. And sometimes they're the ones that are responding and helping the ambulance get to where it needs to go. So there's a lot of teamwork that's going on. All of our police and sheriff's department, state police, and of course I want to reiterate the road departments of our cities and our county are out there giving it all that they can give it, and they'll do the best they can. They may not be able to get to every single secondary road. Hardin County alone has about 560 miles of county roads that we have to deal with. And then you've got all the state roads that our state department's out there working with. And if we do have some branches and some trees that come down, some power lines, the road department, of course, will try to do the best they can with the clearing roads with trees so that our emergency medical people can get to where they need to get. But there may be times where they can't get there immediately. So please be patient with them. We have limited resources, and they're out there. They're going to be doing the very best they can, and I guarantee you that they have put a lot of time and effort in planning for this event. So I just want to encourage all of the first responders, all the people that are going to be called upon over the next several days throughout the week and just appreciate what they do. And for all the citizens of the county, just know you get a kind of a feel for it here right now, that there's a lot of things going on in the background, and we're here to do the best we can to make sure that no one is left behind. We'll respond as quickly as we possibly can to get to you if you're in an emergency situation, especially. So I just wanted to encourage all these guys. It's going to be a long several days, and I just want to hang in there. I appreciate you all.
If I could just quickly add also, we mentioned preparation just a bit ago, and it's not too late to prepare. I mean, it's you've got 20 to 24 hours until this thing rolls in, so start making preparations if you have not. If you find yourself in a situation without power and unable and don't have the means to get to a warming center, you can contact the Elizabethtown Police Department at 270-765-4125. For city residents, and we are more than happy to assist you with transportation. Spoke with the Hardin County Sheriff John Ward, and he indicated that they too were willing to provide that same level of service and transportation. So we're going to work together. Again, that's not something you should wait on, rely on. If you have the means to get there yourself, then please do so. Obviously, as the judge mentioned, our resources are going to be taxed, but do not freeze. By all means, we will get you there if you need transportation, and we're happy to provide that.
All right, and I'm back on here. I see the maps are on your screen now. Starting with this ice, I'm seeing so many questions once again about when the treacherous conditions do actually arrive. So again, the onset of the event is basically between 5 to 9 a.m. Eastern time, and roadways will start to go downhill at about 10 a.m. Eastern time. So again, for those of you that are asking when should you be off the roads on Sunday, at the absolute latest should be 10 a.m. Eastern time, and hopefully you're off the roads before that and just don't even go anywhere on Sunday. Again, we do warm briefly for most portions of Kentucky on the nighttime on Sunday, but once that overnight 3 to 4 a.m. time frame into Monday and those temperatures crash and you have that snow on the backside, the freezing drizzle to occur, it then solidifies everything and locks everything into place at that point. So we might be able to get by a little bit on Sunday when the actual event is going on, a smidge if you're not in one of those heavier snow zones to the north of the I-64 corridors. But let's say something happens here and the 850 millibar 5,000 feet above our heads, all right? Let's say that's 1 to 2 degrees colder than what's currently projected. Well, then it's all snowfall at that point for a good portion of Kentucky for a solid 6 to 7 hours after it begins at 6 to 7 a.m. Well, then at that point, now everyone needs to be off the roadways everywhere north of the parkways. So again, just kind of playing it by ear, staying tuned for updates. We're going to give you solid updates as we go through this. I told Joey I'll take a little cat nap tonight around 11 p.m. or so. I'll be up by 3 a.m. So I'll give you guys plenty of updates, plenty of information on what to expect when it comes to any changes. So again, at this time, there has not been any changes to our forecast. In fact, we didn't even change from yesterday at 4 p.m. All we did was kind of modify it to make it look a little bit easier on your guys' eyeballs. So Joey, I don't know if you have any more information for everybody. If not, then I think we can feel good with wrapping this up if there's any other pertinent questions, Greg.
Well, I just want to thank you for helping us all out and keeping us informed. And again, you've been key and instrumental not only in this storm preparation, but you've been helping us through a lot of different storms. And myself and him talk sometimes 1:30 in the morning. I'll get a text, my phone will ring. So so we do appreciate all your. You are saving lives, and we do appreciate all your help. So thank you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot, man. That's always been my goal since we started this 7 years ago. Nothing else but saving lives and touching people that aren't being touched by big media outlets. So that's what we do out here. So I appreciate you guys for having me on, and I think this was great to give everyone all kinds of information. There's always so many questions about different types of scenarios that might pop up. Once again, all this information is on this broadcast here. It'll stay up on our Facebook and YouTube for you to watch at any point. If you need any of the phone numbers and whatnot, you can always reach out to the page, and we'll help you guys out with that. That said, Greg, did you see any other questions that may need to be added to this? All right.
Emergency situation, if somebody has to go be taken to dialysis, is that something that you guys are transporting or what?
Yes, and I'll let Mark speak about that. But again, and that can be called into the EOC as well, and we'll again make that proper call then for the right transportation. But I'll turn it over to Mark for that one.
Yes, if you require dialysis, we know that that's a vital function for you all, and to call in to the EOC, and we'll arrange for that transfer to get you to that place. We would rather help you get you there than you guys get out and do it and potentially get in this position where you're harmed. But yeah, we absolutely can help with that kind of stuff as well.
All right, great, Greg. I don't see any more on my side. I don't think you see any more up there, do you? All right, sounds good. So for everyone here and myself, again, let's stay off the roadways if we can. Let's stay safe. Let's get through this. The more we stay out of the way, the faster we can return to normalcy if something does happen. All right. So I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. Of course, as I always say, until next time, stay safe.